All right. So, like I was saying, I'm so excited to do this call. Because I don't know about you guys, but how many of you are very like squirrel? Like, are like at you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do a power hour, and then you're like, oh, the dishes, they need to get done, or like you hear something that goes on over there, oh my god, or you remember, oh my god, my challenge group, like right, like squirrel, like, and let me tell you, I believe that um that's like a good thing in the sense of like you guys you've got your mind going, and you've got all these ideas popping in your head. But what's really important is if we can get like we can still have all of that in our minds, and I have all these great ideas. But it's really, really important when you do have a good idea, or when you do remember, oh my god, I need to check in with my challenge group, or oh my god, I need to do this. Like when you're focused on one thing and you have a squirrel moment, have your squirrel moment, write it down, and then come right back. I've learned that that's been my best way to overcome those squirrel moments, because I kid you not, I am such a squirrel. I mean, I will, you know, have the intention of doing a post, and if I'm in the middle of a post, um, and something happens, like, or I remember, oh my god, I have to announce Success Club. I'll squirrel moment, and then I'll catch myself looking at Success Club, and I didn't even finish the post. Right? Like, am I the only one that does this, or do you guys feel like you guys are a bunch of squirrels too? So, what I have found that's been really, really helpful in those squirrel moments is when you do have that moment, just have a pen and paper ready for you, write it down. So once you're finished with what you're doing, you could turn around and tackle that. So I am going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to share a slide that I made. Let me go here. Oh, let me share my screen. Let's get this party started. All right, tell me if you can see this. Time management, how to use your time effectively. You guys see that? All right, great. So, how to use your time effectively. That's the key word, effectively, right? How many of you guys here are still working? Like, you have a job? Okay, so quite a few of you guys, right? I would say probably all of you guys, because I saw everybody raise their hand. I can only see a certain amount of people. Let me see. Okay, so I want you guys to know that when I started this business, I started 4 years ago, and I was a full-time teacher, also a school director. So you know how teachers have summer off? I never had summer off. I worked all through summer because our school would transition into summer camp, and then I was in charge of summer camp. And so the administration part of my job at the school never finished. So during the day, I was a teacher. Then in the afternoon, I was administration. And I had the kind of schedule that, my kids went to school an hour away. Well, it's not an hour away, but when you're talking about Miami and traffic, it takes an hour to get there. So I had to commute an hour every morning to get my kids to school. Then I had to rush to my job, another 30 minutes to rush to my job. Then I had to do my job, right? And then my kids would get bused to the school that I was at, and then by around 6 o'clock we were heading home, and we wouldn't get home till 7:30. No, I'm sorry, till like 6:37. That was the time frame that we would get home. So, in a nutshell, I was a very busy person. Okay, I had a full-time job, and then I fit the effective actions that I needed to take in this business in pockets of time in my day, right? So I want to kind of like share with you guys some of my tips on how I did that. Now, I want you guys to also understand, not everybody here, nobody here actually has the same schedule. Nobody here I cannot tell you exactly what I did because it won't fit your lifestyle. So I encourage you guys to take the information that I'm going to give today, and I want you to turn around and find those pockets of time in your day, right? Because for everybody it's different, and for some people it might come at a sacrifice, right? So in my case, I don't know about you. Okay, who here is like a morning person? Who here can wake up early in the morning and they're like, rainbows, like it's great, right? No morning person. Yeah, Nelly, you're a morning person. Okay, I'm not. Like, I snooze and snooze and snooze until, like, I'm that mom that wakes the kids up 15 minutes before we have to be out the door so we're not late to school. That's me. Okay, that's me. And so I knew I was not a morning person. And I knew that it didn't matter how much I tried. And there was, you know, obviously times and seasons of my time that I did sacrifice and wake up a little bit earlier, but I knew me, the way I am programmed, morning, waking up at 4:30, 5:30, that some of the girls on the team were doing, it wasn't something that I was willing to do. It wasn't something that I was willing to, but I still had to figure out what was going to work for me. So I know I'm a night owl. I can be up at night, and I am very effective at night. I feel like once everything settles and I have already fed my kids, put them to bed, finished the homework, you know, fed the family, whatever, I knew that that was the time that some people feel exhausted and some people feel like depleted and just want to like vegetate. And if that's you, then you need to search a morning time, or you need to find in the daytime. But me, I realized that no, I could actually, that was a time that I was like fired up because I felt like, okay, I got everything done. Now I can work on this business. So for me, my sacrifice came at night. So when the whole world was sleeping, when the whole house was sleeping, I was up working my business. And that started at 9 o'clock at night because that was the time that I would put my kids to sleep. Okay, so, and I will be very honest with you guys. When I was in hustle seasons, because remember this business, you don't always work at a 10. You work at a 4, then a 5, then a 7, then an 8, then a 5, right? You work at certain, you know, levels, right? But when I was working at a 9 or 10 and I had goals, you know, in certain seasons of my life, there were nights that I didn't go to bed till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. That was a sacrifice I was willing to make. And so I ask you to ask yourself this, because when I was, you know, up, like my eyes like this, okay, and I'm even like taking like half shots of Energize just so I can get, you know, get everything going on at night, I had to keep reminding myself and asking this, is making this sacrifice in time? Because I knew that I wasn't going to see instant gratification. I wasn't going to see an instant growth and an instant income. It wasn't going to happen that way, right? But did I know in my mind, is making this sacrifice in time worth my personal life priorities? So your why, right? When I say your personal life priorities, I mean your why. What was your why? And I knew, I came to a point in this business when I decided to really take this business seriously, because I at first had no intentions of leaving my career. But when I did have that intention, I knew that my goal, right? My personal priority was to come home and to be free and to be my own boss, right? I did not want to be stuck at that, you know, that 8 to 6 grind at work, right? Where I felt like I can turn that energy into something and build something of my own, right? So, I'm sorry, let me move this real quick because this is bothering me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm at like a wrong angle, and every little while, I don't know if you see it or not, but I go super dark. There, now I'm with the sun. Better, right? Okay. So, like I was saying, ask yourself this. So when you are in the middle of your sacrifice and you are waking up super early, ask yourself, is making this sacrifice in time worth my personal life priorities? And this is where I encourage you guys to dig deep and find your why. Okay, so everybody's why is different. My why's evolved. My why's changed. My why's, I don't have whys. My why changed in time, and it was personal. It was something for me, right? It was that dream that I had, that it was tangible for me by making these sacrifices. All right. So when you guys are finding pockets of time in your day, I want you to keep this question in mind. Something that's really important is to plan ahead. Know what you're doing. Don't just jump into a power hour, or don't just jump into the day and say, okay, now what do I need to do? Let's see. What needs to be done today, right? That's almost like think of it this way. In this bit, in our fitness journey, can you imagine if we like every single day we're like, okay, without meal planning, meal prepping, we just show up on the day every day and we're like, okay, what to eat, and you start scrolling, going through cabinets and trying to figure out what to eat that day. Aren't you more likely to go get junk, more likely to waste time, more likely to go and binge eat, right? When you're not prepared, you basically prepare to fail. Same concept in this business. If you don't plan ahead and you don't know what you're going to tackle, then so you should already know for at least a week, what are the things I need to tackle, right? So for me, I like to keep things organized and keep it in a calendar. And I have a calendar and I will put, by this day, I would need to have launched this. By this day, I would have need to have launched this. By this day, I have this going on with my team. So it's really important to know what your day is going to look like, right? And it's really also important to know your priorities, all right? What are your priorities? Now, when I say your priorities, it was broken. Actually, Melanie Mitchell was the one that shared this concept, and I loved it. And I was like, I saw it on leadership last year, I believe it was, at leadership, and she taught this. I was like mind blown. I was like, it's so true. It is so true. We get caught up in the little things that don't matter, that we seem to forget about there's only 3 actions, 3 priorities you need to do daily that will generate income growth. 3 things. That is it. The rest of the stuff, while they are important to an extent, they are not actions that you will take to build an income, to build growth, right? At the end of the day, this is a business, right? And we are trying to find, freedom in this, financial freedom in this opportunity. So the 3 things that she talks about is the 3 priorities. If you're not doing this on a daily basis, and this should be the first things you should be doing. So you know how we have our power hours, and you know how we have the daily tracker, and you know how it's like a checklist? Well, she says it's all great, but if you're getting your personal development in first, or you're doing hour-long trainings a day, and you are not implementing these 3 things on a daily basis, you're doing it wrong. You are doing it wrong. You are not doing the actions that are income producing. So what she likes to teach her team, and what she's taught us at leadership for us to teach our teams, is teach them to get these 3 things out the way first, and then whatever you have left over, whatever time you have left over in the day, then focus on the rest. And if you don't get those things done, that's okay. But at least you got the main priorities that's going to get you to the main goal that you have in this business. And those are, the 3 priorities are sending invites, right? Invite. It's kind of like it's our 4 vital behaviors, one of our 4 vital behaviors. Connecting with new people. If you are not connecting with new people, when we say connecting with new people, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Você precisa ajuda? Ofa! Você precisa ajuda? Tá bom. Sorry. My father-in-law just got here and he's helping her. Okay. So connecting with new people. In this business, you have to be private messaging new people on a daily basis and creating new relationships and connecting with new people. If you are constantly doing the same people over and over, you're going to keep spinning your wheels and you're going to get pretty exhausted in that mindset. So it's really, really important to connect with new people on a daily basis. And then follow up with people. I shared this the other day, actually. I shared this with my team yesterday. And I want to share it with you guys because I just think it's so important, especially in the kind of work that we do. How following up is so freaking important. And I want you guys to hear this. I don't know if you guys have seen this quote before. I don't know if you guys can see it. Sales statistics. I'll share it at the bottom of once I'm done, I'll share it at the bottom. But I do want you guys to read. I'm going to read this out loud, and I want you guys to understand how sales work. And this is not just Beachbody sales. This is sales in general. This is sales across the board, anywhere you go and whatever you decide to do. So sales statistics, 48% of people, 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. So 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. So they talk to them once, never follow up. That's 48% of people do that. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. 12% of people only make 3 contacts and stop. Meaning, hey, I have this product. Hey, just want to see if you're there. Hey, just want to see if you got my message, and then stop. Only 10% of people make more than 3 contacts. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Now, check this out. 2% of sales are made on the first try. Okay? 3% of sales are made on the second try. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. 80% of the sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. That is why following up with people is so crucial. You want to be the 10% coaches, the 10% of coaches that follow up more than 4 times to tackle the 80% of people that actually commit after the 5th to 12th time. Right? Isn't that like mind-blowing? That is why in a sales world, following up it's a good thing to do. It's a good trait. And you may feel like you're coming off annoying, but I promise you what we have to offer, people need it. So the only way I'm going to stop following up with somebody is if they tell me to go fly a kite, or if they block me. I'm going to be honest with you. If not, you're going to get a follow from me, a follow-up. All right? I honestly wholeheartedly believe follow-up is where it's at. So these are the 3 priorities that you should be doing on a daily basis if you want to continue to grow your business. Okay? The next thing is to create a calendar. All right? Find a calendar and look at the month ahead. Write everything down in your calendar. Your job, if you work from so to so time, put that in your calendar. If you have kids in extracurricular, when before this whole pandemic was going on, and while I was working, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Ai, perdoa. Não, tá bom. Ela tá bem? Tá bom. Não, de nada. Sorry, guys. I warned you guys that this was going to happen today on this call. I really apologize. I didn't record when I had told you guys, but my mother-in-law, she like fell and really hurt herself. So I had to put her in the bathtub and kind of like help her. And so she's not doing too well right now. I might have to take her to the hospital. But anyways, okay. So create a calendar. Put in everything that happens before the pandemic happened and before all of this craziness happened. And even while I was working, my kids were in extracurricular. My daughter was in soccer. My son was in baseball, right? And that was a part of my mommy duties. I had to write all of it down in my calendar. I wrote it all down, everything that I need to do. And then for me, certain days were special. Sundays was reserved for family time and for church time. And I had that reserved. And then I want you to put all that down in your calendar. Then I want you to take a step back and look at your calendar, and I guarantee you will find pockets of time in there that you can really use to build this business, right? And to do the actions that it's going to take to build this business, not scroll through social media or not, scroll through TikTok, which can be really, really addicting, right? Or not, do some things that you might feel like you're doing, business actions, but you really are not, right? So that's why it's really important. And again, I took that from Melanie Mitchell, these 3 top priorities that you should be doing on a daily basis, and find pockets of time to do that. And if you don't have, or let's say you do have the pockets of time, and it just gets you to do these 3 priorities, but of course we still have a list of things that we need to do on a daily basis, according to our daily tracker, then that's where you need to figure out, where are you going to sacrifice? Where can you sacrifice to get where you want to be? Okay. So create a calendar, find your pocket of time, make sure you put these 3 priorities in those pockets of time on a daily basis. Okay. And then the rest of the time that you do have, put it for everything else. Put where it's like recognizing your team, going to your challenge groups, you know, following up with people in your challenge groups and motivating them. Okay, another thing, it's a big deal. And honestly, like, I feel like I'm not even like practicing this, but again, this is a different situation, but eliminate distractions. If you're somebody like me, okay, it's kind of hard for me to do a post sometimes. Sometimes it takes me a really long time to like get in the zone and be like, okay, this is what I want to say. Now, what I want to say in my head sounds great, but putting it and writing it down is like a whole nother story for me. It's not easy for me. It's not, and for some people it is like super easy, but that's not me. I know that that is not me, and it's not easy for me to put what I'm thinking on, you know, into words and to share. Sometimes it in my head it's pretty, but then when I put it on paper and I read it, I'm like, what? So I have to like tweak it, right? That happens to me. It takes me a while for me to post. If I know that I'm somebody that it does take a while for me to post, or it requires my undivided attention to respond to people, right? If I'm going to respond to people and I need undivided attention to do so, then you need to eliminate distractions, right? You need to make sure you're somewhere quiet. You need to make sure that you're not like in the middle of your kitchen and you have stuff going on in the back, you know, that you're like squirrel moment. You know, it's really important to be intentional and find a quiet place that will eliminate distractions for you. Because a post, if I were to do a post, you know, and sit there and try to write out a post in the middle of like, you know, while the kids are over here running, 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna have to stop my post, lose my train of thought to like yell at my kids or something, you know? And then now I just lost my train of thought. I come back, now I'm exhausted. You get what I'm saying? So if that's you, if that's not you and you can totally like zone out the world and do your thing, by all means. But at least I know I'm talking to the people that are like me, that I do need to eliminate distractions. So that means sometimes like when I'm on a call, I'll tell my kids, go to your room, close the door, I need everything quiet. Okay? And the last thing, this is the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm gonna actually show you guys a visual of this. Get organized with your contacts, right? You can't follow up with people if you don't have them like in your face, right? And what I mean by that is that if you don't have a list of people who you need to follow up with, if you're relying on just going back on your messages and trying to like go back on your messages, that's how people are going to fall through the cracks. So I think it's really important to have some sort of organization going on. Okay. I personally use Google Streak and I highly recommend it, but I do know that Google Streak, once you actually understand how to use it, which there are tons of YouTube trainings on how to set it up. Everybody has it for free. You can even have it on your phone. So if you're out and about or you're not home and you get some leads, you can plug it into your phone as well using the app. So it is a really easy app to use, but I do understand that some people get a little bit flustered with this type of style, and that's okay. Then use a spreadsheet or use your notes on your phone. But whatever you end up doing, find what you're going to do and get organized. Get really, really organized. So I'm going to share with you guys what Google Streak looks like. And I'm going to share Google Streak because that's what I use. So this is Google Streak. So when I know I need to go and follow up with people, I don't need to sit there and go, okay, through my social media, right? I don't need to sit there and go through my social media to try to find my follow-ups, right? I could just come right to my streak and then I can see where they're from. So if they don't have an IG name, I know they're from Facebook. So these people are from Facebook, these people are from IG, right? So I know how to contact them. Then I have here all the list of people that when I put people in here, so people make it onto here if we've actively talked about Beachbody, meaning I asked them the questions. So part of me introducing people is I ask them 3 main questions. What are your goals? When reaching your goals, what do you struggle with the most? And what kind of workout programs do you like? Like, do you like cardio based, weight-based, dancing, whatever. I give examples. And do you have a time limit too? When I ask that last question, I ask in there, and is a time limit a factor, right? So that I know which program to tease them with. So if they say, oh, I really want to lose that mommy pooch, I get that all the time. If I really want to lose that mommy pooch and I'm really, wanting to tone up, guess what? 80-day obsession is the video I'm going to send to them to show them, right? So I need to first find out what they're looking for and ask them questions, and then I can guide them. Once I've had that conversation with them, they make it onto my leads, right? They make it into my leads list. So this is my leads list. And then once I send a share a cart, they go into the next one. So if I sent them a share a cart, here you can see I have 4 people that are 4 carts are pending right now as we speak. And then if they don't buy it that month, I start it all over. So come the 30th, I throw everybody back into my leads and I start all over for my share a cart. So I am actively going back and contacting all the people that I have sent active share a carts at the moment. Okay. Once they sign up, do they sign up to be, if they signed up to be a discount coach, they come here to discount coach. If they signed up as just a customer, I put them here as customers. And in my mind, they're customers that need to be converted to coach. Because in my mind, I want lifers. I want people that are not just, they only got the challenge pack and they only got the shake once and they really, that's it. And they're just going to use the BOD. I want lifers that love Shakeology, love our Energize, love our products. And what's the next step for them? Become a coach to get the discount for that, right? So that's the funnel. This is my funnel system that I use, and I use Streak for this. Okay. And if they become a coach and they become a working coach, then they go into my other, my working coach tab. So you guys can see this is how Streak is used through your Google, through Gmail. So if you have a Gmail account, you have this for free. If you don't have a Gmail account, make a Gmail account and you can have this for free. And then again, you have an app so that will connect. So I can just plug into my app at any moment. So let me show you. So you guys can see here, I plug into my app. There's my Streaker app. Continue. And there it is, my leads. There's my leads list. See? How convenient is that? And I can take this anywhere I go. I can build my business anywhere. I can do my pockets of time. So when I was working, guess what? When the kids were in nap time at the school, from 1 to 3 was nap time at the daycare. Guess what I was doing? I was doing a power hour. Yeah, Andrea used to work at the daycare. She knows. And from 1 to 3, I was working on Beachbody. That was my time. That was one of my pockets of time. And then at 9 o'clock, I would go right back, right? So again, I really encourage you guys to get a calendar, write everything, because everybody's day is going to look different. Everybody's day is different. And I guarantee you, you will find pockets of time. And if those pockets of time are not enough, then we need to focus on where are you going to sacrifice? And ask yourself, is this sacrifice that I'm going to take in time aligned or worth my dream, my goal, my vision, right? So in my case, I knew I got it very, very intentional. And I knew that what I was doing today was going to eventually free me and be able to come home. And it did, right? So I want you guys to look at that as inspiring. And that can be for you guys too. But it's so important. I think we get caught up in the little things. And I think we get caught up in too much trainings. And we get caught up in too much of the need to knows instead of the doings, right? We need to start using our time and putting action behind those times. Not to keep doing more trainings, not to keep, doing the other things like the vital behaviors, which I think personal development is a great vital behavior. But if personal development is taking over your time and it's not allowing you to do the actions you need to take, then you need to cut down on your personal development. Because personal development means nothing if you're not doing the actions, right? Make sense? So that was what I had for you guys for managing your time. I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna stop recording and then I'll answer some questions, any questions that you guys have for me. But I really hope this was useful, and take care, guys. God bless.